Crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. If you say a word enough times, it loses its meaning. That word is no exception. People keep throwing it around to describe remedial things, that it just doesn't mean what it should be anymore. I've been dubbed as crazy. They wrap me up in a straitjacket and leave me in a padded cell. But there are many things that I myself find crazy. Before I was here, I walked past a man. He was dressed in a mid-ranged business suit and worked for a growing business in the bustling city. He lived alone in his own house, and he had to keep up a good image, so he had a nice car to match his professional visage. He worked many hours a week to pay for all of this. In fact, he worked so many hours that when he was finished, he was too tired to do anything, to have fun. Where was his free will? Where was his purpose in life? What a depressing life to live. To just live to work. Now that's crazy. Later in my life, I was on a bus and overheard an argument between two youths, both girls, and they were both in their awkward teenage years. They were arguing about music. The one girl was adamant that her type of music was superior and that everyone else was wrong. Her narrow-mindedness amazed me. She was so absolute, like no one else's opinions were valid. She talked of music like it was a religion. She devoted her life to that one genre of music which in real life means nothing. Now that's crazy. Mutton in sheep's clothing. That's the phrase that comes to mind when I see those fake girls that seem to be springing up more than often nowadays. One particular girl tried so hard. She starved herself to a toothpick size through many torturous ways. She bleached her hair blonde so much that her hair was like dry, crispy straw. Her skin was overly fake tanned to that ugly shade of orange that has trended recently. So much so that you can actually see it running under a tight white top. There, her boobs were unproportionably big compared to her frail body. Well, I should rephrase that. Because what was on her chest was way out of proportion compared to her body. This is because she had so much padding, she could probably stop a bullet with those things. She always acted the part as well. She would strut around like she owned the place, hiding the scared little girl inside. She denied her true self, putting on a mask, trying to change who she was by hiding behind a facade. Now that's crazy. When I walked the streets, it seemed like no one else seems to value their own lives anymore. They poison themselves with their own destructive ways, inhaling smoke like their body needs it more than oxygen to live, and drinking poison to intoxicate their lives. I saw one guy. He was dressed up in fairly fashionable clothes, smart enough to look the part, yet casual enough to not be too intimidating to members of the opposite sex. If he wasn't drinking, he was outside having a smoke. His ideals of self-preservation were simply out the window. He had no regards to his own survival. He was destroying the perfect body he was so blessed to have. Now that's crazy. I've came across so many crazy people in my lifetime, yet I'm the one locked up here. Now that's crazy.
So, who is this guy?
He's our newest patient.
Okay, so what's he here for?
A lot of things.
Like what?
Well, his first victim was a businessman. His body was found in his car outside of his house. He was brutally murdered by having nearly 50 pieces of stationery, ranging from pencils to protractors, being jammed into different parts of his body. He started in non-lethal places such as the forearms and ankles, and slowly made his way towards the torso and face. When the body was found, they found pencils sticking out of his eyes.
Oh, okay.
The next victim was female, only 16. She was found near a bus stop, dead on sight. She didn't appear to be in too bad of a state from a distance, only a few cuts around her body. But when the paramedics had a closer inspection, they found that there were a lot more small cuts all over her body.
So, small cuts aren't known to kill someone, Doctor.
Let me finish. Once they looked closer, they found shards of CDs in each cut. It took hours, even days, to take most of them out. All I know is that they managed to piece together 14 CDs before they finally gave up.
Damn.
I know. But it gets worse. They found a body around back of a nightclub downtown. Again, female. This victim was found sprawled out in the middle of an alley. Her hair was burnt quite bad, so much so that it went black. None of her original hair color remained. Her skin was pale from being exposed to massive amounts of bleach and other high concentrated acids mixed together. It must have taken a while for her to die from this, but the music from the nightclub was too loud for anyone to hear. She was only wearing her underwear when they found her. Someone noticed that her bra was leaking a dark liquid. When they peeled it off, they were disgusted by the sight. Under each cup was the mashed up remains of some of her organs.
Are there any more that I should know of?
Well, there was this one guy. Seems like he was quite the party animal type. We found him in the smoking area, or in a abandoned bar that got shut down a few years back. He was found suspended a few feet from the ground by his hands and feet. Going by what the autopsy reports, he was apparently burned all over his back, slowly, with dozens of cigarettes, for what may have been hours. But this isn't what killed him.
And what did?
He was drained of all his blood. They found the broken necks of beer bottles jammed into different areas of his body, that held major veins or arteries, where blood poured out of him like an open tap. He died quickly from this point, although it was far from painless.
Does the list go on like this?
Yes.
How many people has he actually killed then?
Estimations are at least over 50. Each one killed in a gruesome, yet ironic way in regards to some aspect in their life. It's a miracle that we finally managed to catch him. The police reports say that he was surprisingly easy to apprehend, barely giving a fight.
This all seems very weird. We'll have to see how he does in therapy.
These doctors, they go around and tell people there is something wrong with them. They analyze how you act and give them names like schizophrenia and label you as insane. They think it's fine to try change who you are. They make it sound like it's their right to dictate your life. Why is it that they can judge you to be insane without being judged themselves? Now that's crazy.